Today, humanity stands tall, with over 8 billion souls spread across continents, cities, and civilizations. But if we turn back the clock nearly 1 million years, the story becomes almost unrecognizable. Scientists have uncovered chilling evidence that our ancestors, fragile, scattered, and desperate, were reduced to the edge of annihilation, clinging to survival with barely more than 1,000 breeding individuals left on Earth. What could have caused such a catastrophic collapse? A bottleneck so severe that 99% of humankind simply vanished from existence? The answer lies hidden in a forgotten chapter of the Ice Age, in a world of plunging temperatures, vanishing food sources, and evolutionary crossroads where fate chose who would live and who would vanish forever. But this is not just a tale of survival, it's a mystery still unraveling, a genetic echo buried deep within our DNA, holding secrets that scientists are only now beginning to decode. And trust me, what they've found will change how you see our place in history forever. Close your eyes to the modern world of cities, skyscrapers, and endless noise, and step into a time when Earth itself seemed determined to erase humanity from its surface. Between 930,000 and 800,000 years ago, our planet plunged into a brutal climatic shift, one of the most unforgiving Ice Age episodes in history. Temperatures fell, glaciers advanced, oceans cooled, and rainfall patterns shattered, transforming fertile lands into barren wastelands where survival was a gamble played against nature's merciless hand. It was during this catastrophic period that the ancestors of modern humans faced a population collapse so staggering it's almost impossible to comprehend. From a thriving multitude, they dwindled to just about 1,280 breeding individuals. That is less than the audience of a small theatre, less than the number of students in a single school. And yet from this fragile thread, every living human today is descended. The genetic bottleneck lasted for nearly 117,000 years, an eternity in evolutionary terms, and the consequences of this near-extinction echo in our very DNA. But what drove this collapse so deep, so prolonged, that our species came within a whisper of vanishing forever? Some scientists point to the extreme chill of the Pleistocene, where advancing glaciers stole the warmth and food sources humans relied on. Others suggest volcanic winters or long droughts across Africa and Eurasia, disasters capable of cutting populations into tiny, isolated pockets where hunger and disease would spread unchecked. What is undeniable is that fossils from this period are nearly absent, a silence in the archaeological record that mirrors the silence of dwindling human voices struggling to survive. And yet, paradoxically, this desolation may have been the crucible of creation, shaping the destiny of humanity in ways we are only beginning to understand. For hidden within this crisis was the seed of divergence, the eventual branching of modern humans, Neanderthals and Denisovans. How could near extinction create such diversity? That is a secret I will reveal soon, but not yet, because first we must confront another astonishing clue. A genetic fusion that rewrote the very blueprint of our species. Before we get there, consider this. What does it mean that every empire, every civilization, every triumph of human history comes not from billions, but from the fragile survival of little more than 1,000 souls huddled against the Ice Age? This is where the true mystery begins, and the deeper we go, the more shocking the revelations will become. Stay with me, because the next piece of this puzzle will completely change your perception of how humanity was forged. Deep within every human cell lies a silent testimony to a crisis that almost erased us. A genetic scar, a fusion of chromosomes that forever altered the destiny of our lineage. Unlike our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, gorillas and orangutans, who all carry 48 chromosomes, humans carry 46. And this reduction was caused by a dramatic end-to-end fusion of two ancestral chromosomes nearly 900,000 years ago. This was no minor adjustment. It was a rewriting of the manual of life itself, a change so profound that it still marks every strand of human DNA today. Scientists call this fusion the birth of chromosome 2. And the timing is no coincidence. It falls squarely within the mysterious population bottleneck that reduced our ancestors to a handful of survivors. Was this fusion a random mutation, or was it the catalyst that allowed our fragile species to endure when all odds screamed extinction? That is a question still debated, and one I will not fully answer just yet. But here's what you need to know now. The fusion brought with it powerful evolutionary consequences. By uniting two separate chromosomes into one, the fusion may have influenced fertility, brain development, and even the emergence of traits that separated us from other hominins. What's even more remarkable is that Neanderthals and Denisovans also carried this fused chromosome, which means it must have occurred before our lineages split apart, making it one of the oldest genetic landmarks we share with our lost cousins. But how do scientists know this? The answer comes not from fossils, but from algorithms and models so advanced they allow us to peer into the invisible past of genomes. Using thousands of modern human DNA sequences, researchers built coalescent models, computational time machines that reveal how populations rose and fell across the eons. These models detect something extraordinary. The moment our population shrank, the fusion already existed, locking its mark into all future generations, binding us forever to the survivors of that catastrophic age. Yet even as the bottleneck raged on, this fusion may have divided small, scattered human groups into distinct populations, sowing the seeds of speciation. Could it be that the fusion acted like an evolutionary gate, one through which only certain lineages could pass into the future? This possibility haunts the scientific community because it suggests that one of the defining traits of humanity, the very number of our chromosomes, was forged not in abundance, but in scarcity at the edge of annihilation. And here is where the story turns darker. If chromosome fusion is tied to survival, then why did so many other human groups still vanish? Why did Neanderthals and Denisovans, who carried the same fusion, eventually disappear while we endured? The answer to that lies not only in genetics, but in encounters, migrations, and interbreeding events that will shake your understanding of human ancestry. But before we get there, keep this in mind. Every single human alive today carries within their genome the evidence of this fusion, the permanent reminder that we are all children of a near extinction, survivors branded by a genetic merger that changed the rule. The story of humanity is not a straight ascent, but a fragile thread woven through fire, ice, and near annihilation. From a population reduced to barely 1,000 breeding souls in the grip of the Ice Age, our ancestors endured a crucible that reshaped not only their fate, but the destiny of all who would come after. Every city built, every language spoken, every civilization ever born traces back to those few scattered families who clung to survival against a world that seemed determined to erase them. Their struggle carved scars into our DNA, from the fusion that formed Chromosome 2 to the tangled web of interbreeding that blurred species lines and left us carrying echoes of Neanderthals, Denisovans, and even super-archaic humans long vanished from the earth. Ours is not a tale of purity, but of connection, of encounters and exchanges that rewrote the map of evolution. And yet only one branch endured in the end: modern humans. Why us? Perhaps it was chance, perhaps adaptability, perhaps the spark of culture and imagination. But what is certain is that survival was never guaranteed. The silence in the fossil record, the genetic scars, the mysterious DNA fragments from unknown ancestors all remind us that we are not the inevitable outcome of history, but its most improbable survivors. From less than 2,000 souls to 8 billion, our existence is proof that humanity was born not in certainty, but in chaos, forged by climate shifts, genetic gambles, and fragile alliances across time. And even now, as we stand tall in a world of skyscrapers and machines, the echoes of that near extinction remain within us, whispering that our survival has always been a story of resilience, of chance, and of the unbroken will to endure. But as we stand here today, descendants of fewer than 2,000 survivors, one question echoes louder than all others. Why us? Why did our fragile lineage endure when Neanderthals, Denisovans, and countless other human cousins vanished into silence? Was it pure chance, a roll of evolutionary dice, or was there something hidden in our DNA that tipped the balance in our favor? Did the fusion of chromosomes give us a subtle edge? Or was it our adaptability, our imagination, our ability to connect and create bonds across groups that carried us through when all else failed? And what of the mysterious traces of unknown ancestors still woven into our genome? Are they silent witnesses of encounters lost to time, or hints of entire species yet to be discovered? If every human alive today is the product of interbreeding, struggle, and survival, then what does that say about our future? Could we face another bottleneck, another moment where our survival hangs by a thread? And if so, would we endure again? Or would we finally join the countless human species that walked before us into extinction? These are not just questions of the past, but of our destiny, and the answers may yet decide how our story ends.